Okay, and hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar dedicated to, well, money and how much revenue food delivery generates for major players. My name is Lisa. I'm a lead digital marketer at Onde, textbook and software that helps to grow your local business. And today, our amazing speaker, Vera, will share with you some numbers of large players like Uber and Bolt, and how much revenue they are super apps bring. She will uncover some regional trends and global insights just to provide you with some food for thought about why you might also want to launch a super app. Now, before we start, let me just mention that you are free to use chat and Q&A section to ask questions during the webinar, which we will answer at the very end of it. And now let me introduce our fantastic speaker, Vera. Vera is the key partners manager at Playfood. She's a talented professional with over 10 years of experience in business management. During her last years at Playfood, she helped nearly 20 companies in 15 countries launch their food delivery services. Vera believes that with a reliable software partner and quality business support, every startup has the potential to build a successful super app business. Hello, Vera. It's so nice to have you with us again. I think we haven't seen each other for a while, but yeah.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to host the webinar again. And thank you so much, Lisa, for your kind words. Today, we are going to have a very data-rich webinar, so buckle up. We're going to dive into a lot of numbers, a lot of graphs, charts, and statistics. So I'm looking forward to sharing with you the insights that we discovered during our research, and also in general during the past, I would say, maybe half a year. So yeah, I think that you're going to get very interesting insights that will help your strategies to get polished up, and that will help to identify the direction of your business development in general. Okay, so in terms of the agenda, we are going to discuss first the mobile applications and the statistics. After that, we'll talk about revenue of the food delivery platforms, as well as usage data. And then we are going to look into the performance of the global top players. We're going to see how they were doing last year. And we are going to together analyze what kind of interesting things happening with them. Okay, so let's first talk about the mobile applications. So on this slide, we wanted to share with you data related to downloads of food and drinks delivery applications divided by subgenre. So in general, food and drinks category is very broad, and here you may see what kind of subgenres are included into these categories. And if you take a look at this graph, the first thing that you're going to see is that pretty much in all of these subgenres, we notice the growth of the mobile apps download. And why is it happening? Why is it still happening? It's basically because why in general mobile applications became a game changer in restaurants and grocery stores industry, because they closed the gap between restaurant stores and users. They made it easier to get the food to the table. They made it very convenient, very comfortable, and this factor of convenience and comfort is huge for users. That is what drives the demand for food and grocery delivery marketplaces. And yeah, that is why even to date, the users are still downloading more and more applications. But I want to point your attention out at this thing that is happening with the purple trend, which belongs to grocery deliveries. This is very interesting spike of download activities related to this specific subgenre. And in general, throughout our presentation today, you're going to see that grocery deliveries are on the rise. So not only this data confirms that, I will show you even more interesting statistics. if you were thinking about should I add grocery or not, perhaps by the end of the webinar, you're going to make up your mind and you'll be able to make the final decision. And just spoiler alert, it looks like it really makes sense to add grocery deliveries to your current on-demand vertical that you have. On the next slide, we decided to show you the statistics of this food and drink category in general, the statistics of downloads of the applications, sessions statistics, as well as year-to-year growth. What is interesting here that in 2024, this growth really accelerated, especially if you compare it with the growth in 2023 and 2022. And if you, for example, think, but yeah, in 2024, the growth is not that impressive. Please bear in mind that this growth is represented in billions, okay? So if we take, for example, sessions in 2023, the amount of sessions were around 200, perhaps 55 billions. And in 2024, this amount increased to 200 and I guess 85 billions of sessions. So 30 more billions of sessions we experience in 2024. That's a lot. And this growth that is not decreasing but increasing, it basically tells us the following. It tells us that the behavior of users changed. And this behavior is very much associated with the digital experiences, and it's going to stay like that. And right now, users, they choose online experience in shopping, online experience in dining. It becomes like very natural habit, and it drives this growth of food and grocery marketplaces. It also makes this growth accelerate. And as a result, it creates new opportunity for your businesses to expand and to thrive in the super app ecosystem. When I'm talking about super app, what I essentially mean? I mean the system that combines multiple verticals of different services. And I actually brought very interesting data about the super app applications in general, not only super app apps related to ride hailing or food delivery, just super app. So there was a study according to which 1 in 3 people in the world are super app users. And across the UK, Germany, the US, and Australia, 72% of consumers are interested in super apps. And why they're interested? So 90% of the surveyed responded that they are motivated by the convenience of the super app. So remember we mentioned that why mobile applications were a game changer for food delivery because they brought convenience. Why super app is a game changer? Because super app brings additional convenience. Instead of downloading 10 separate applications for every service that the customer is using, this customer downloads only one application and has everything the customer needs in one place. Okay, so on the next slide, we decided to look into the rating per country. So basically, what are the most popular applications in food and drink category in these countries you see on the screen, plus worldwide. And first thing that you may notice is that we have standalone restaurant applications. We have McDonald's, Domino's, KFC, Burger King, Taco Bell, and first of all, when you see the situation, you shouldn't treat those standalone applications as your competitors. The thing is that for aggregators, it's extremely important to collaborate and work with those famous fast food chains because those fast food chains, they bring huge traffic of users to your applications, and you will definitely benefit from them. So consider them as your partners rather than competitors when it comes to applications. And vice versa, you are also going to be a partner for these companies because basically your marketplace can be additional source of user traffic for them. But second takeaway that we can observe here is that still the majority of applications on top in each country and worldwide are aggregators. So what does it mean for us? It means that aggregators remain a preferred choice for consumers. Why? Because again, consumers, they seek convenience. And it's far more convenient to use aggregator platform because on this platform, you can access hundreds of restaurants in one place, and you do not need to download 10, 15 separate standalone restaurant applications. Plus, this convenience is also related to the variety because, again, maybe one day you want to order Japanese cuisine, another day you want to order Chinese cuisine, and then you want to order Mexican cuisine. This type of variety can be found only on aggregators, applications, and marketplaces. So this factor is also very important for the users. Plus, these aggregators, they usually offer a wide variety of different perks for the loyal customers, for frequent users, the discounts, the promo codes, the loyalty programs. So all of these keeps the users with the aggregators rather than downloading tens of standalone applications of particular restaurants. So now let's talk about the revenue statistics and also the statistics of applications usage. First of all, we wanted to show you the prospects in terms of the market size. So I think that you are familiar with the very well-known source Statista, so you are very welcome to go ahead and explore further the information that is available there regarding food delivery. It's a great source of the insights into the market and the industry state. But what we wanted to discuss here is, well, first of all, the market is growing, great for us. So the growth rate is predicted to be 9%, and it's going to result in a projected market volume of 1.85 trillions of USD by 2029. And if you pay attention to basically the breakdown, right, of the market, so the market is analyzed for grocery deliveries and meal deliveries. So in meal deliveries, we see very stable growth, as if this market is already mature, it has stabilized, and yeah, the growth has also to some extent slowed down, which is very natural case. But when it comes to grocery, remember, we noticed the trend of spike in downloads of grocery mobile applications. And here, the data again confirmed that there is a huge demand for grocery deliveries because the market for grocery deliveries is growing quite significantly. We are noticing this growth. What does it mean for you? Again, if you are thinking, should I add or should I not? Perhaps you should add grocery delivery services. What else does it mean for us? First of all, consumers who are very like acquainted already with delivering from the restaurants, and it's very habitual activity for them. Now they are growing the habit of ordering groceries online. I think that for quite many markets, if we look back to several years ago, it wasn't that often for the consumers to order groceries online. Consumers were still preferring to go and to buy everything offline. But now we see the shift in this trend. So people, they start gradually adopting this this fear of the delivery because they notice the convenience. Quite often, they do not have opportunity to reach some supermarkets that may be located far away because they do not have cars, or maybe they just don't want to pay for taxi because ultimately when you're doing grocery, you have a lot of bags. And yeah, so grocery delivery solves this problem perfectly well. So the thing about groceries, we are going to reiterate on it further in the presentation, but you, I think, already see that there is a spike in the demand for grocery, so it can be quite prospecting niche for you. Next thing, we prepared the graph about food delivery revenue by country. Well, of course, China has the first place. What happens after China? These markets, United States, Europe, and United Kingdom, based on this data, we can the conclusion that they are already mature markets, they're stable markets, they're markets with a particular list of like local players or global players that are really well established in these regions. Still, there are new players popping up on the scene. They are coming with new innovative solutions. They're trying to offer something that is more relevant to the local users. They're trying to compete. But also, what we can say about this graph is that two quite popular markets, Middle Eastern market and African markets, are not somewhere at the top of this chart. What it means for you? It means that if you are thinking about opening up in these markets, it's a great time to do it now. Why? Because these markets are still developing, they're still forming. The competition hasn't yet settled in those markets, and you have a very good opportunity to come to the market now, establish in this market, expand, and get the good market share. Next, we have food delivery users by application. When we look at this graph, right away we see that Delivery Hero has huge user base. But the case with Delivery Hero is that they have a lot of subsidiaries, a lot of brands that they bought that were former local food delivery platforms. So quite often with food delivery companies, we see the situation where they have Snickers and Mars strategies. I think you all know about Snickers and Mars. You might think that they are competitors, but in reality, they belong to the same company. But the marketing is built in a way that users are made to think that we have to choose either or. But in reality, they all belong to the same people. They all belong to the same company. Another thing that I would love to pay attention on this slide are number of users for UberEats versus Doordash. So even though this is the worldwide graph, and DoorDash is dominant in the US market, UberEats is available, has just wider geography, but still UberEats has huge user base in the States. And when we're looking at this graph, UberEats is far behind. I mean, DoorDash is far behind by the number of users. However, and now we are looking at the market share on the US market of food delivery applications. And look now at the share that DoorDash has. DoorDash has around 67% of market share. And Uber has twice less, I think around 25%, 26%. It means that, going back again, we see that UberEats has huge user base. It means that having a huge user base does not necessarily mean huge revenue, okay? So growing in terms of revenue doesn't mean that you must grow 100% with your user base and you must invest into the user acquisition as the only tool, as the only way that can bring you to the increase of the revenue. And we are going to talk more about that. Now, let's talk in details about our global competitors, about our global players. First, we have DoorDash, and DoorDash had a great year last year. You may see that they had 31% of increase of revenue compared to 2023. And they have huge user base, 37 million. They also have, as we already discussed, huge market share on the US. By the way, in terms of DoorDash, why they managed to grab the US market, I would encourage you to actually check their use case, because if we go back to this slide, you might see that at some point of time, Grubhub had 70% of market share in the US, but then actually they just almost lost this entire market. They lost it to DoorDash. So DoorDash came up with a very effective strategy of reaching out to the suburban customers because suburban area had very poor coverage in terms of food delivery previously. And basically, they structured their expansion around this particular point. So it really helped them to get like more users ultimately, of course, because they increased the coverage, but also they were quite creative with their marketing strategies, with their different additional services strategies. So just a tip from me personally, when you are thinking about how can you stand out from the competition, what kind of strategies you might adopt, a look at the examples of the successful marketplace player. You can get definitely some inspiration and ideas from them. But going back to our numbers. So remember I mentioned that there's a huge difference, right, between users of UberEats and Doordash. So if we look at the number of users that they acquired in 2024, so they actually increased their user base only by 15%, but their revenue increased by 31%. So globally, it means again that acquisition of users does not mean substantial growth of revenue. And perhaps instead of heavily investing in user acquisition, you need to think about two major factors. How can you additionally monetize your users? And also, how can you increase the value of your orders? So these are two very crucial factors that will bring your business to success. Now, in terms of increasing the order value, I mean the final order value, right? After all of the fees. So first thing that comes to mind is trying to increase little bit everywhere. You have cards total, you have vendor commission, you have service fee, you have delivery fees. So when you are doing those small increases, on the big scale, it's going to substantially boost the revenue because, again, the food delivery business is the volume-driven business. The more orders you have, the more you earn. So this is the first strategy, but we are going to talk about other strategies as well. But before that, I would love to discuss the numbers of Uber and UberEats. So in terms of revenue growth, Uber also experienced it last year. So in 2023, they had 11% year-on-year increase compared to 2022. And in 2024, we only have data available for Q1 and Q3, but already in these quarters, they hit the growth that they had in 2023. So it's safe to assume that in 2024, the growth of revenue is going to be at least the same or even more than this 11%. And we also found out the very interesting statistics of the relationship between mobility niche, mobility vertical, and food delivery vertical for Uber. So, of course, in 2020, like from 2020 to 2022, food delivery helped to double the company's total revenue. Why? Because we experienced COVID, and you can see it on this graph. People couldn't go out, people couldn't use mobility services, so that is why they were heavily compensating with the food delivery. Then in 2023, the world recovered finally from COVID, and that is why the mobility revenue naturally increased. And in general, we see that as of Q1, Q3 of 2024, food delivery has already generated 82% of the previous year's revenue. And in general, the total revenue contribution to Uber from food delivery is expected to be between 68 to 70% of the mobility services. This is just the data that can help you to decide whether you should invest into opening the new vertical or should you just stay like one vertical company. Now, In terms of users of Uber, so Uber grew the user base only by 3.53%, but the revenue at the same time increased by 62%. So we again see the proof that revenue growth is not related only to user acquisition, but it heavily depends on two other very important factors. Factor number one, the spendings of user per order and growth of spendings. And factor number two, frequency of the orders. You can see that, for example, in Uber case, the revenue user jumped from 87 in 2022 to 137 in 2023. So it basically indicates that we have increased order frequency, higher value purchases, and also pricing adjustments. Now, how this information translates to some takeaways for you, for those who either already have on-demand business and thinking how to develop it further, how to expand it, or for those who are just about to start the on-demand journey. So basically, as I mentioned before, the key to success is not just growing user numbers. Growing user numbers in general is quite expensive because you need to heavily invest in marketing, you need to heavily invest in user acquisition. The prices for user acquisition are quite volatile. They can change drastically depending on what kind of region you are launching in, what kind of season you have right now. So we would love to offer alternatives ways that can help you to increase the revenue without user acquisition. Or on top of that, first of all, upselling strategies. And now let me give you just one example. So imagine we have a user who is using the ride-hailing services. And let's say this user goes to the office 2 times per week, and this user's orders taxi like at least 2 times per week because the user wants to get to the office in the morning without commuting. So 2 times per week, the user is ordering taxi. And then like one more time per week, the very same user maybe travels to some shopping mall to do shopping, and then the user is super tired, so the user wants to get taxi, or maybe the user just have outing with their friends and then they're going back home late at night, so again they're using taxi. But pretty much like the user is doing on the average 3 orders per week. And you may think like how to make this user spend more. I can offer promo codes. I can offer promo codes constantly. I can constantly give 30, 40, 50% discount, but this user may not have any situations to use these services. So we have this natural cap of orders that one user can bring to us. Now, imagine the very same user needs to eat, okay? And when this user goes to the office, this user might be so busy that he or she does not have time to go outside and have a lunch. So this user needs to order food, needs to get this food from somewhere. Now, this user who is already your customer, who has account with your system, can also at least 2 times per week order food. Maybe, again, this user can have like Friday night with the family, they're watching a movie, they want to get snacks. Okay, there is a third time they're going to order food per week. But maybe in general, the user is just super lazy and the user doesn't want to cook at home when the user is not at the office. So this user can place another 3 food delivery orders per this week. But okay, we again hit our like natural cap of orders. But this user still may need to have some food in the fridge. So you have grocery deliveries, right? And basically now this user is going to place one more grocery delivery order per week because they need to restock the fridge. So instead of having only 3 orders that they were bringing to you within the ride-hailing domain. Now we have 3 on top from food delivery and 1 on top from grocery. So in total, this user brings you 7 orders instead of 3. That's one of the possible upselling strategy. Bringing more verticals to your business. Of course, on top of that, you can also do premium services. You can, for example, try to work with higher order values, not only through increasing the prices everywhere a little bit, right? But maybe you can create some bundling promotions. You can encourage your vendors to come up with special offers, two for the price of one, or I don't know, instead of like, for example, just ordering I don't know, let's say apples alone, the user can order the fruit basket, and there will be other fruits included. And in the end, user perhaps went to your platform just to order one item, but the user ended up ordering several items in a bundle because the price is more beneficial. So yeah, you can work with this type of things. Of course, you can offer promotions that would stimulate user in the end ordering more because they see a very good deal and they don't want to miss this deal. That's why they want to order more. Another thing is creating loyalty programs, subscription models, or providing efficient logistics and delivery fees optimization. When I'm speaking about delivery fees optimization, I mean the following approach to the delivery prices when you are not providing like just several delivery prices options. Um, in Playfood, we have opportunity to create quite advanced delivery metrics where you can specify the delivery prices, various delivery prices based on the distance of the person from the venue, as well as based on the cart total, how it translates into real life. So, for example, let's say you're working with the area that is quite remote from the city center. And this area doesn't really have a good coverage by other competitors. So in this case, if you're ready to deliver there at a higher distance and you don't really have competition at this particular distance, you can easily provide and like set the high delivery prices because if users wants to order food and no one is really delivering to this remote area, you'll be the only company and hence you can set the price that will be really beneficial for you. On another hand, if you have deliveries, for example, in the city center where everything is already covered by the competitors, you may bring down your prices to stay competitive. On another hand, if someone is ordering huge basket from your website, so from your marketplace, let's say maybe they're ordering groceries, or I don't know, they're just ordering food for some party. So we have a big cart total. In this case, you can also set high delivery price because in this case, the customer will be less sensitive about the delivery price on such a scale of the orders. So as you see, I gave you various strategies in terms of how you can maximize the revenue per user and how you can increase the frequency of orders or the value of the order itself. And now let's talk about Bolt. So as other companies, Bolt also experienced increase in revenue in 2024 and in 2023. So again, all these companies, they are only increasing and increasing the revenue, which brings us to the conclusion that food delivery niche is not slowing down by all means, and people do not stop ordering food online. One interesting thing from the Bolt was that they reported that they managed to improve efficiency and profitability compared to previous year by reducing operating losses up to 5.5%. It's just a good reminder that along with those strategies that we already mentioned, when you are creating the company, thinking about what kind of team you're going to have, how many people you're going to hire, what kind of operational processes you will use. Sometimes it's just Good idea to be mindful about your operational spendings, how much money you spend on the team, how many people you need to hire, where you're going to get your office, because again, it can also positively contribute to your revenue data. And speaking about Bolt and continuing Bolt and Uber topic, so these two companies, they are super app companies, right? And I already gave you example how offering super app can contribute into the increase of users' spendings by increase of orders because you're just giving more opportunities to the user to order from you. So it all basically can be expressed in the following conclusion that super app strategy means increased revenue streams. So instead of one stream, ride hailing or just food delivery, or let's say just parcel deliveries, you are increasing this number of streams. On the example of Bolt, they have ride hailing, food delivery, micromobility, business transport services. So they create the situation, the environment of cross-selling opportunities. But also, Bolt is using the super app strategy in a very smart way. So Bolt in general is very popular in Europe, and European market is diverse market. So the countries are very different from each other. They have their peculiarities. And instead of offering the very same set of services in all of those countries, Bolt adopted the approach where they tailor the service list in every country. If the country has better adoption of ride hailing, they are just increasing their ride hailing presence. They are investing in this niche. If in this country, for example, people for some reason, they do not really use food delivery or they are not that interested in the food delivery services. Okay, they are not spending all of their money on promoting food delivery services there. Maybe they will not even promote them or they will not even offer them. Same goes about micromobility. In some countries, you just do not have the environment suitable for scooters or bikes as the mean of transportation. So Bolt tailors the services. Bolt stays flexible. And this flexibility means that they stay relevant. And relevancy means that they are competitive. Okay, last but not the least, the biggest player on Middle Eastern market, Talabat. And you're going to receive the presentation, so you'll be able to study in details these numbers. One thing I wanted to discuss about Talabat, that was a surprise for us as well. We did not expect it. So here you see that Talabat, even though again being the most popular application on the Middle East market, more than 90% of their operations are cash operations, not card ones. And this is very interesting because quite often our partners are very cautious about cash. They are they're cautious because they think that cash can lead to a lot of fraud cases, cash usage increases the risks, but which is true, of course. However, we see the example that extremely successful company is running cash operations and is doing it successfully. So if Talabat managed to do it, and if Talabat managed to organize those processes, I'm sure that you also will be able to do it. And if you think that you definitely need to have a payment gateway to start working on your market, yes, you have cash, but you want to offer card payments. However, we may not have the needed payment gateway. Cash definitely should not be a blocker. It's better to start operating with cash rather than postponing the launch and waiting unless the card payments are developed, because by doing so, you can potentially just postpone your opportunity to start grabbing the market share and to start developing your brand and making the money. And the next slide, I think, is my favorite slide in this presentation. It proves what I was saying before about diversification of your services and about the perk of bringing more services to your application. What we have here, so on the left side, we have the performance of Talabat when they were offering food only, deliveries from restaurants. You can see that the frequency of orders per month was around 3.8, and monthly spend was only 54 USD per month. After some time, they decided to introduce grocery delivery. This one means takeaway, pharmaceutical delivery, flower delivery, and all other possible vendors. And the result they got is just amazing. It's mind-blowing because the frequency of orders increased 3.4 times. Instead of having let's say 4 orders a day per month, they are having per user 13 orders. It's even more impressive than in my example I gave with the ride hailing and adding food and groceries. And the monthly spend went from 54 USD up to 221 USD. So the increase was more than 4 times. I think that after this slide, you should have very little hesitations or perhaps concerns regarding the thought of introducing the new services. Yeah, we just have these numbers on the screen. So if we sum up everything that we discussed so far, what kind of key takeaways we can get from today's webinar, from our presentation? Takeaway number one, food and grocery delivery market is at its peak, and we are experiencing the growth, and we are going to experience significant growth in upcoming years as well. Takeaway number two, it is crucial to integrate additional services because it will help you to enhance customer retention, customer loyalty. It's going to increase their monthly spends by means of orders, and also it's going to increase monthly spends by means of revenue, by means of money. So everything, like all this, leads to the increased annual revenue of your company. Takeaway number three, food delivery service, when we are talking about super apps, contributes between 20 to 60% of ride-hailing revenue. It means that food delivery sector is a high-value addition to mobility-based platforms. And takeaway number four, introducing grocery deliveries, takeaways, deliveries from various stores on top of the main food delivery service that you might already have can bring your super app 3 times increase in order frequency and 4 times increase in monthly customer spending. So I hope that you are as excited about these takeaways as I am. And I do hope that they will help you to form your strategy of your business development in the upcoming months, years, and I hope that you'll be inspired by that. Yeah, so again, just to kind of reiterate on why the super app is such a trend and why there is a huge shift towards it. Because remember, customers, consumers, they are motivated by convenience. And super app saves them from jumping between 5 or 3 different apps. And as we already discussed many times during today's meeting, grocery delivery became key super app growth driver and in general just key driver of your on-demand delivery business. All right, so now why just a little bit about Onde and Playfood and why we're speaking so much about the super app, about deliveries, about ride hailing. So we've been on the market collectively for 10 plus years. During that time, Onde launched 400 plus ride hailing companies in 75 countries. Playfood launched 35 plus food delivery businesses, and collectively, we launched 20 plus super app businesses. That's how super app looks in our context. You can see the example of the client application on the screen. So it combines the ride-hailing services, parcel deliveries, other on-demand deliveries with the food deliveries, groceries, pharmaceutical deliveries, you name it. And why our customers are actively switching to the super app solutions because of these main reasons. Reason number one, as you already saw during today's presentation, super app gives you opportunity to additionally monetize your client base, to give them opportunity to spend more money in your company. So also on top of that, Super App keeps your drivers working for your company and keeps your drivers within your company. So it helps with their retention, it helps with the better utilization of their time. What I mean is, it is not a surprise for everyone that drivers are working sometimes for multiple companies at the very same time. They have multiple phones. When they don't have orders with one application, they might switch to another app. So instead of having those drivers switching to your competitors, you can just give the driver more orders. And how can you give them more orders? By creating additional order types. You had only ride hailing, now you have food delivery, now you have grocery delivery, now you have the delivery from other stores. So the drivers, they are just sticking to your companies instead of going to competitors. Also, remember that in terms of marketing, the super app means cheaper customer acquisition. When you are advertising one service, ultimately you're advertising all of the services, because when user is going to open the application, the user is going to see that, aha, I saw maybe the ride-hailing ad, but also there is a food delivery. If I click on food delivery, I will see groceries. So it's just very easy to cross-sell in this case, and acquire users for all of the verticals that you work with. And last but not least, it's just more beneficial in terms of money to get the super app with Playfood and Onde rather than buying these two solutions separately. All right, so now, last but not least thing from me before we jump to the Q&A session, if you are interested to see what kind of revenue prospects you have with your project, when you want to see how your unit economy translates into money, translates into revenue, please scan this QR code and we will give you opportunity. We actually will give you the special file calculator that will help you to calculate the unit economy, input your particular parameters and details of your business model, and then just see the approximate result of how much money your business can make on the various scale of orders.
Thank you so much, Vera, for such an amazing presentation. Really, it was really great to have you here with us today. And thank you, everyone who joined us.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lisa, for having me today. And yeah, see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon, guys, and have a nice day.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.